Progress. I'm excited. Here we go. It's coming to life. Come on, baby. Hello and welcome back to our ZR1 barn find restoration project. Here it is in its current state, ready for another day of messing around and tinkering. And you'll notice that it's jacked up. Ooh. So today everything changes, and I'm not going to make you wait till the end of the video or start doing loads of clickbaity stuff. I'll tell you straight away why everything changes, but let's just have a quick recap on what we did last week. We cleaned out the fuel tank, and I got absolutely reamed for vacuuming it with a Mealy Hoover, which was an expensive, really nice vacuum cleaner, but also because of the health and safety aspect of it. And I can tell you that that tank was pretty much full of water. I'd left it for a few days before using the Hoover on it. There was no chance of anything spontaneously combusting. It was absolutely fine. Anyway, so that was done. We also changed the pumps. We tested the pumps. We tested the level sensor, which was fine. And then we purged the fuel through the lines and...
But only
go on.
To this point, didn't we?
But only to this point?
Only to this point.
It was only to this point, really.
Which tells you something.
What does it tell you?
Maybe this bit on this bit weren't purged.
Maybe not, but Chris is right, there's a clue there. Anyway, so we purged the lines, changed the fuel pump, cleaned the tank. That's all good. Verified that the fuel pressure was in spec, which it was like 48 psi. And that was the end of the video. But I did mention right at the very end of the video that I thought the crank sensor might be faulty, because while Chris was at his sister's wedding, I was doing some messing around on my own trying to figure out what was going on, and it was really frustrating actually, because I knew that I had fresh fuel in the tank. I knew that the lines were clean, that we had good fuel pressure, still no spark. Absolute nightmare. Anyway, excellent news, guys. We got the car running. I've done it. Have a look at this clip. This is the first time that I've started it, so this is what you're about to see is the first time the car has started in 18 years. Bear in mind it is a little bit rough because the plenum is only partially held on, so there's going to be loads of vacuum leaks. Oil's old. I didn't want to let it run for too long, but the main thing is we have liftoff, baby, and this is where the fun begins. Progress. I'm excited. Here we go. Right. Coming to life. Come on, baby. First start in 18 years. Woohoo! Not sounding brilliant, but wow. Let's have a look what the oil pressure's saying. I think I'm just going to let it idle for a minute. Oh, exciting times. Woo! I can tell you that we were absolutely buzzing when we got that car running. I know it sounded like a bag of nails, and we'll address that. But just the fact that we got it running was absolutely amazing. Weirdly enough, Chris rang me when I was messing around with it.
Moments before.
Literally moments before, and you were on the phone. Chris was on the phone, and I said, I think it's going to start, Chris. Started it. And then sent him the video, and then he rang me straight back, and we were just like buzzing about it. So how, I bet you're thinking, did I get it to run? And actually it was quite simple. During the weekend, I was prodding and fannying around. I went under here and removed the crank sensor, visually inspected all the wiring, looked at the condition of the crank sensor, it all seemed fine. So then I went back to the top of the car So underneath here, the crank sensor has a connection that goes to an ECU for the ignition, which is bolted underneath this. And you can do a resistance test on it to check whether it's open circuit or has signs of problems. Anyway, I did a resistance check on it. I'll insert the footage because I did do a little bit of filming. It was within spec. It was 950 ohms thereabouts, and the spec is between 800 and 1200. So at that point, the crank sensor was working. It was sending the right signal to the ignition ECU. We're still getting no firing. So I'm like scratching my head thinking, why is it not running? My logic was taking me back to basics, and I know that down here and down there, there's two large ground posts that have got loads of ground connections for a load of electronics right on the back of the block. They're difficult to access. I started just messing around down here with the borescope camera, trying to see if I could see any damage to the earth cables. My next plan was to sort of clean them up. But I noticed that two connectors that go from the ignition ECU down to the module that's got the coil packs, there's 4 coil packs on like a housing, that was disconnected. And obviously, schoolboy error. I don't know whether it was me or Chris. One of us forgot to plug 2 connectors in. Whoever's fault it was, I'd connected those connectors up, and it was a little bit fiddly because I didn't want to take the plenum off, so I got my hand underneath all the crap on the top of the engine. And I thought, right, we're in for a massive shout of it started now. I was actually feeling really confident. Started the car, didn't start, and I was like, oh no, still not working. But then I thought, well, what about revisiting the fuel? Once the fuel lines are pressurised, you can basically press this button on the gauge and it will squirt a little bit of fuel out of there to depressure it. So I pressurised the fuel gauge, pressed that button, and then put my finger on the end of here, and it was still like water. Obviously, what had happened is I'd purged the lines to here, so I had fresh fuel running to here, but the injector rails were still full of water. I think you probably know, guys, by now what happened. I used this to bleed all of the injector rails until I had lots and lots of lovely premium fuel going into there, and lo and behold, she started. Show us your list, Chris. This is what we're going to do today.
Drain the oil first thing. Let's get all that mucky oil out of there, and that fan filter.
This lovely filter.
That's got to come out.
Yeah, that's got to go.
This plenum needs to come off so we can get to this starter trigger. That was a temporary bodge, it's going to be fixed now. Coil packs, we've got new ones.
Yep.
We've got new plugs and leads.
Yep.
We are going to keep these old leads though, because they are the proper leads. So we're not getting rid of them.
Yeah, the plan with these leads, because they're really sexy, is to take them off, replace them for now, clean them all up so they look mint again. And then later on down the line, when the engine bay gets detailed and we do loads of cool stuff under here to make it look beautiful, those original leads will probably go back on, because I actually suspect that they're okay, but we're going to change them anyway.
Filters, so obviously a new oil filter, wicks.
Yep.
Going on there. Air filter, whatever we can change.
Air filter.
This is off. This drive belt is more accessible, so we're going to do that.
I think it's fair to say that drive belt has seen better days.
It has seen better days.
Thermostat.
Thermostat. Got coolant.
Coolant.
We've got some new oil.
What's last on the list? It's my favourite, I think.
Oh, pub, I think, has to be done after that.
Yes, I think we'll be deserving it after that. Oh, and one more thing. This little thing here, this is the vacuum pump that feeds the secondary intake. And I can tell you, this is something else that I found at the weekend. Check this out, guys. Oh, and look at our lovely new parts. Wix filters, NGK, Denso, Delphi. We're not putting cheap parts on here. Everything's OE spec. Look, that's a GM genuine panel filter. Everything that we can order from Rock Auto is the premium option item. So this is what controls the full power mode. Without this working,
we have no power.
We have no full power. And that, I've actually cleaned it out a bit because I've already been in it, but it was completely full of water. And it's totally crusty. So in my little bag of goodies here, I've got a brand new one. Genuine GM Hella.
I wonder how that got full of water.
I can't imagine.
Must have come through the headlight housing.
It probably dripped through the headlight housing and then just dripped down onto there. And
off the bonnet.
No, I mean the connector's mint. These plugs are really nice.
That's a nice easy job then.
Yeah, so we'll change that as well, and when the plenum's off, we're going to come back to that and test those actuators for the secondary intakes. That will mean that there's a good chance that the full power thing's working. But I'm excited today. Right, so what's first on the list?
Let's drain that oil.
Let's do it. This bolt is like mega stiff. So that was so tight. Here we go. First oil change in probably 20 years. I've got the sump plug. Let's go and have a look at this now. The oil doesn't feel that bad. It's quite odourless as well, the oil. It doesn't smell fuely, and it feels like viscous. It'd be nice to get that oil drained out, won't it, and get some fresh stuff in there. We're not taking any chances this time, are we, Chris?
We've been down that road, and
Chris is making sure that he's put extra tape on my side of it this time. Let's do something about this starter wire, shall we? So let's just have a recap and see what's going on with this wire. The bodge held out there, didn't it?
yeah.
The bodge got us out of trouble. If I cut this back about there, so we've got about 10 mils worth of. I will run a blade around that and make it neater. But that 10 mil there, if we use that as a join, yeah. What do you reckon?
It's going to be enough length, isn't it?
I'm going to call it, mate. I'm going to snip this off. You ready?
Go for it, yeah.
So that's way more length than we need. Okay, so we've sort of done a repair to this, but neither of us are happy with it, so we're going to revisit that. For now, it's a good connection. We basically just cut the wire and put some heat shrink on it and rejoined it with another bit of cable. But it wasn't easy to solder because the wire's quite old, etc. So ideally, that whole piece needs replacing. Like, we need to trace it out of the loom, but for now, I'm going to leave it as it is, and if it fails in the future, we'll worry about it. If the starter motor starts to not work, we'll know exactly what the root cause is, but I'm happy with that. That will do. I'm going to fit this new vacuum pump. While the plenum's off, we'll put the battery on and see if those secondary throttle body things open. 1, 2, then just the last one. That's the pump fitted. One shiny new vacuum pump. Pump's come to life. So that's good. That's done as it should. If I pull the vacuum line, it should run continuously, that pump. Turn it off. I'll just plug that connector on there, turn it on again. That's functioning correctly. That means we've, in theory, got no vacuum leaks. So let's press on, get those new coils in. Grab it. You got 5/8, 1/6.
4-1 is towards me, over the 4 and 7. And then obviously, what's left? 3 and 2. Nice little drinky poo.
Well, I'll start taking these plugs out then, and then what we're going to do, lubricate the bores before we turn it over.
You can do.
Yeah, I think so.
You know, I lose doing that. I'm going to very, very carefully remove this gasket.
Alright, so we're slipping the new gaskets in.
Yeah, just need to lift that plenum.
And when I've helped Chris do this, I'll explain where we are. Go on then, just tuck that under. That's it, and then you can just sort of jimmy it into the right position.
It's a bit far forward, this guy. Yeah, this whole plenum is actually. That's about right.
Mine went in okay.
No, I mean, this, it's
yeah,
slightly twisted, isn't it?
So, new leads are in, new coils are in. We've checked all of the vacuum lines under there.
Perfect.
New gaskets. We've also taken the plugs out. Before we do a proper first start, we're going to spin it over with some little bit of oil down there without the plugs in, just so that it can build oil pressure. But yeah, we're not far away now. Yeah, it's soon going to be time to whiz that horrible thing off, put a new oil filter on and fill it with some fresh oil. You've put the sump plug on, right?
Yeah.
So sump plug's on.
That's a classic mistake.
So once we've buttoned, yeah it is. Once we've buttoned all of this down, we're going to be in a position, I think, to
go to the pub.
To go to the pub. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I don't think we'll be driving there in this, unfortunately.
No, I think that might not be a viable thing to do.
4 pints and no brakes.
Be fine.
So plenum's back on. I've dropped a bolt, which I can't find, but it's not in the cylinder, so that's good. Need to just add one more bolt at some point. We've replaced the gaskets.
It's all back together, we think.
Plugs are in on that side, but not on this side. One of us can fill the oil, and the other can put the... Do you want to put the plugs in?
I don't mind, I can do.
Go on then. You put the plugs in and I'll fill the oil up. You got
Is it a big boy? Look.
Yeah, big boy.
Might be a bit short. Woo.
That was pretty tight as well.
Was it? Well,
here we go.
If Will did service it himself, it didn't look like he was afraid of.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Got the new oil filter?
Yeah.
Let's get it on. This is only a sacrificial oil change anyway, isn't it?
Did you put oil on the seal?
Yep.
Excellent. That's what we want.
Yep, done that. Ow.
Just them bonnets.
So, first 5 going in now.
Link, plug, 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 plug.
This will do it the world of good, won't it?
It was not the most expensive oil, and it's probably not the perfect oil for it, but it's got to be better than what's ancient. And the idea behind it really is only to flush.
Yeah.
Flush it really.
And then we'll do another oil change.
Do a proper oil change with Mobile 1, fully synthetic. But it is fully synthetic at least, and it looks about right. It's oil.
Synthetic as in it's fake oil?
Fake oil, yeah.
Right, that's 5 litres in then. So you reckon another half of one of those?
Yeah, I reckon that's going to do it.
So going for about 7 to 7.5 litres, yeah?
I think so. And I think that'll probably do the job.
It's 1 litre. Oh, what? Ollie. Grab a cloth quickly because it will start smoking, won't it? That'll do, that's roughly about 7 litres I've just put in.
Needs a bit more cleaning around there. I reckon this is going to sound pretty good.
You reckon? How far away are we, Chris, from a test fire?
Air filter needs to go on so it don't suck any rubbish up.
Alright, shall I do that now?
Yeah, bang the air filter on. Is it over here?
No air filters going in now. The old one
actually is not terrible.
Isn't horrendous, but it's not been eaten. That's not been eaten.
It's not been eaten.
So that's good. Cool. Right, so that goes like that.
Little wobbly thing. So it's literally, we've been at work all day.
Yeah. At work all day and then grazing our knuckles. Doing the best we can.
Yeah, that's what we want.
I need to get new captive nuts for these at some point because they're not.
Yeah.
They're rotten, I think. But it's sitting there. It's fine for now. Battery is back on.
Perfect. It's out.
Chris is just finished. Are you finished?
Done it? Yeah. It's
Putting
out.
the leads on?
Yeah.
Okay. We've been working on this car tonight after work, and we've tried to go through our list and tick off as many jobs as we can. So let's have a look at what we've done. So drain oil.
Success.
Yes, we've done that. Plenum off. Yes.
Success.
Starter trigger coil pack. So I'm going to give that a tick. That, I'm not really happy with the repair that we've done, if I'm honest. It's fine, it's better than it was. But ideally I'd like to buy a whole new length of cable and splice it further back into the loom and do a really decent repair on it. Plugs, leads, yes. Filters, we've got an air filter, oil filter. Still got to do the fuel filter. Not done the drive belt. The reason being is we're a little bit worried about the condition of the tensioner, because you can't buy those tensioners anymore. So we didn't want to...
More careful.
We basically didn't want to hold the job up by wrecking that tensioner, which is going to set us back. So we're just going to live with that for the time being. Thermostat coolant, we've not managed to change because we've run out of time. Pub, I think this is where we want to be. But first, let's try and do the first proper start of this car. Now we've put fresh oil in it, fresh plugs and everything else, and see how smoothly it runs. You'll know that on that clip that I played earlier, it runs like a bag of
spanners.
Rusty old spanners. So let's...
I think I know the reason why that was, though.
Well,
possibly.
Plugs were loose, plenum was off, it was just not in a good state. Do you want to start it or shall I?
Don't mind.
Go on, you start it, because
You want to hear it from the back?
I had the pleasure.
And also, you can hear it from the back then.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of starting the car.
We've definitely
last
got oil
time.
in it.
We've definitely got oil in it. Let's hit it.
Right.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Go on then. That's the new vacuum pump.
Okay.
That was I think that was the cams filling up with oil.
Yeah.
Let's just listen to the engine.
Is that how it sound from the back?
Doesn't sound brilliant.
No.
But then it's not ran for ages.
It seems slightly smooth on the full power mode, but I could be wrong. It's got loads of oil pressure. I'm not convinced it's firing in all cylinders.
No.
Maybe one of the plugs isn't really well connected on the coil packs.
Give it a bit of a rev.
It's not firing in all cylinders.
No.
It's not firing all cylinders. I think one of the plug leads isn't really properly connected.
Do you reckon?
Just double check the plugs on the outside are really well pushed in.
Okay. It started though, didn't it?
It did start.
Oh, hang on. The map sensor wasn't connected. Let's just try that.
Did it run worse or better than yesterday? Worse?
Possibly worse.
I don't think it's firing in all cylinders.
I'm just going to put this in quickly. Yeah, you're right. It could be that the coil packs are not... The leads aren't seated right.
Well, with the coil packs, it actually wouldn't be that hard to lift the plenum, would it?
To lift the plenum to check.
Yeah.
The map sensor's plugged back in, so just try that again.
Same.
The same?
I think it's the same.
Does that feel better?
What's the clutch release bearing noise? Keep the clutch in, it's not so bad. It's not revving very nice. So maybe one of the leads is mixed up.
Yeah, possibly. Do you want to have a quick look?
You've got your bore scope.
It might be too much faff though.
Yeah.
I reckon by the time we've undone those bolts and lifted it, should we just do it?
Let's do it.
Okay. Right, we've gone back to these because we weren't convinced about those NGK leads. They should be all right, but
maybe we didn't push them on enough.
Maybe we didn't push them on enough. They just didn't seat right very well on the coils, did they?
They didn't feel quite right, no.
So going to go for another start in a minute once Chris has just tightened his side of the plenum down. We've had the plenum off and obviously changed the leads, and then we'll go to the pub. We've got to tidy all this stuff as well. That'll be fun.
The honours.
Should we go for another start? You want me to do it this time?
You do the honours and I'll have a listen.
Tell me when you're ready. All right, let's do it then. I didn't give it any gas. Not starting at all now. Let me try and do it with 2 feet. That sounds better, doesn't it? I don't know. I don't know. For a sec. Why is it sounding so whistly?
Got no RPM gauge or anything.
No RPM gauge? And everything's all on, yeah? 100%?
I think so.
Try it again. No. That's it then. Game over for today, Chris. I'm still going to call that progress.
Well, it ran. I think that ran actually smoother.
Do you reckon?
That time with them leads.
Ah, it's annoying, isn't it, about the battery? So I'll put it on charge overnight and I'll try it tomorrow and see what happens. The idle being high indicates a vacuum leak. So I think it could be that we're tired and we've put it back together wrongly and there's a vacuum pipe off and that's why I've got such a high idle. So I'm thinking, tidy up, go for a pint if you've got time.
Yeah.
You got time?
Possibly, I think so.
And then tomorrow or next time you're over here, we'll
try again.
We will try again. That's it for today then. So in episode 6 we are going to try and see if we can get it running a little bit better, but hey, at least it runs now and we've got something to work on. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Give us a thumbs up, leave a comment.
That's weird.
What is that?
Bizarre. What the hell is it? Why is it lit up underneath?
Got no idea.
Has it got neons or something?
No, I doubt it. I doubt it's got neons.
Oh.
Chris thinks the car's got neons.
There's a little light underneath.
Is there?
Yeah, like a number plate light.
How weird.
Well,
It's probably falling down.
no, it's connected, it's attached.
Right, I'm going to the pub. Bye.